is there's a company based in Kingston called, let me get the name right.
IITS.
IITS is what it stands for, and it's Intelligent Information Technology Solutions. And it is a company that's providing wireless off cable. So they start out with a cable link, and then they bring very much smaller towers, 35 feet or so, with flat antennas on them. It's a radio signal. You put a flat antenna on your house somewhere where they tell you it has to be. And they boost the cable connection, the cable signal, from the cable itself to areas that are not served by cable. An advantage from my point of view is that it's wireless, which is the new technology, and wired technology is not going to be the technology of the future. The signal doesn't degrade, which is a big point they made. They have a wonderful system. The system is used in many other parts of the world. Some exclusive communities depend exclusively on it, and it works, and we know it works. There was no question about that. The company, however, can't get funding, and the reason it can't get funding is that its banks aren't lending money, obviously. It has no collateral because it doesn't have any stuff. It just has an idea that works. So we met with these people. It was a very nice turnout. I appreciate all of the town council people who were there, and who Bonishek sent a representative. And we listened to this, and then we listened to their plight. And their plight is kind of, it's like you can't get out of this, because they need $250,000 to put 2 towers up, which would serve a section of Olive. 4 towers is obviously, going to be the multiple of what all of these 2 towers cost. We still are talking to them. Norman and I are going to meet with them on Monday, because they're trying to raise private funds now to be able to support this. They initially said that they wanted to find 25 people who would contribute $10,000 to their company to get them started. And I think that that is, in our community anyway, pretty unrealistic. We talked to them about breaking that down into smaller amounts so that 10 families could get together and be a partner. But it's risky. And we don't know. And we know the technology, well, from my research, I think I can say that the technology works. But it's very hard to say whether or not they can really pull it off here, and whether they can pull it off as a first-time ever endeavor that would really be successful for the amount of money they're saying it would cost. But I'm open. I think everybody is open to trying to find a solution. One of the pluses is that if they can partner with Verizon Wireless or AT&T, they can boost our cable signals our cell signals in places where we are not getting good cell service now too. So that's just a report on a meeting that went on in the Marbletown Community Center last Wednesday. And if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to. Or thoughts on what we can do for the areas that are not served now. In the meantime, the franchise agreement is up in 2014, and I think those of us who don't have cable service might want really to pressure the town to make our areas the next free mileage places that cable has to be brought in if they're going to continue to get the franchise for the town of Olive.
Could I just address that a minute? I negotiated the original cable contract when Nissan had it. I can't remember what the name of it was now.
Cablevision.
Olive Cablevision. When Nissan's had it, what we found out is we negotiated it down from 26 homes per mile to 20. The FCC actually requires 26.
Okay.
So we got them from 26 down to 20. We've never been able to get them below that.
We got them below that.
Did you get them below that?
When we did
After
this
that?
last contract.
That was when I did it.
I did the one that's in current effect.
2004.
Yeah, that's, I know it was on the negotiating team to do that with the state. I'm sorry, name is just not happening.
Yeah, I know.
Brenda Parks?
No, she's with
No, she's with Cable.
Cable.
There was a state guy. I can't remember his name
a
either.
state guy came from, I'm sorry.
A couple of a couple of years ago, they ran cable up, what do you call it? Time Warner?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. They ran that up our hill, up on High Point. And like 3 years before that, I asked for it, they said, oh, we're not up there yet. So like, within a couple of years, they'll be over there, you know.
Well,
They're gonna wire the whole place, it just takes time.
When we negotiated the contract, you had it less, you had it more than 20, because we negotiated it down to 20. Because it was like 22 houses at 20,
I think originally it was
22.
Whatever makes you
35
feel
or
good.
36 per mile, and then they're down.
Whatever makes you feel
Well,
good.
you know, they did say that they would wire us.
But they would cost you how
My
much?
initial request resulted in a letter saying that it would cost us $53,924
Yeah.
to have our house cable. And, you know, so I thought it was a joke.
Well,
They got
didn't-
down to $1,300 per house.
Yeah.
And that's still out of the
We
question.
were running into that in Brown Station. They didn't have it either. And then they also were dragging their feet because they couldn't take it from, all of it had to come up from Marbletown, and they said, how can we combine the two? You know, there was a lot of,
Yeah.
They actually brought it through West
About it.
Shirley.
Well, you know, they're certainly, you know,
But
they're
we finally
not
got it.
eager-
We
They're
did
not
get it.
eager to do this. That's
We didn't try satellite.
We have satellite. The downside of satellite is that if you have bad weather, if you have.
Downside of the other.
Cable's the same way.
Cable's the same way.
You're not missing much on cable.
They'll get it, just take, take a year or 2 or 3.
or 5 or 10.
Well, they won't get it there unless we renegotiate in the next franchise agreement that the places that aren't covered in Olive be covered. I've talked enough to Brenda Parks and to people at Time Warner to know that they do not have a plan to cover the rest of the town now.
Talking about the weather, one of the good features about these people was that it has its own cells.
Right.
There's no wires going to it, and it's all radio transmission type thing. And so they claim it's not affected by the weather.
Does it work in the mountainous areas though?
Yes.
That's the
and
problem
it's-
with a lot of communication systems.
No,
New York
this-
State
this-
proposed a wireless
They
network.
actually, this wireless system is looking for particular locations. Tell me if I'm going on and saying more than you want to hear. But they're looking for a ledge. They're looking for a terrain that has a ledge that can be relatively clear, but that has trees up on the ledge and trees above it. Because this is a wedge-shaped transmission radio signal that is directed at houses, but it doesn't have to be line of sight.
Okay. Because New York State tried this a couple of years ago. They called it the SWIN, Statewide Wireless Network. After September 11th, when everybody agreed that emergency services couldn't talk to each other,
Right.
that was a big push. So it was a $12 billion with a B dollar contract that was going to be let. They piloted it in Erie and Cattaraugus County, which are relatively flat compared to this area, and it didn't work. It was a failure. I mean, the higher you go with frequencies, the more problems you have, the more repeaters you need. I'm working with a county now. I know we want to upgrade the county communication system, especially for fire and EMS.
The difference with this is that it's broadband, it's data, it's not telecommunication, it's not
Being
phone.
run up in Nova Scotia, they're doing it up there. It's,
Yeah,
That's why I say, just be careful what you,
Yeah.
because like, they were proposing an 800 system. 800 system does not work, 800 megahertz. I don't know what frequency spectrum this is in. What is it?
900.
900 megahertz. See, I think that their plan is to put the towers.
You're going to need a lot of repeaters.
Yeah, they're going to be very close. Their claim is that they'll put a tower as close as it has to be to make sure that you're getting good internet service. Whether that can really be done for the $250,000, none of us know, and that's the meeting that we're going to have next week. They are going to be much more specific about what the costs will be to bring this to Olive. But one of the questions that I had about the franchise then was that in the 2004, were there free miles